Joseph Smith's third plural wife, Louisa Beaman, had to dress as a man when they got married so that she was not detected.
Louisa Beaman was the first widely recognized plural wife of Joseph Smith. She was born on February 7, 1815, and was the seventh of 8 siblings. The first 5 never converted to Mormonism, but the ones closest to her have strong Mormon histories. What survives of Louisa are a few letters and journal entries from other people, such as Heber C. Kimball, Zina Huntington, Eliza R. Snow, and other prominent Mormon elite women.
So there's a story in Mormon history where Joseph Smith has 2 fellow treasure diggers show up at his house. Joseph Smith by this time had already obtained the gold plates. These 2 comrades came in and demanded a share of the treasure that he found in Hill Cumorah. One of the men used a divining rod to discover that Joseph Smith had hidden the golden plates under the hearth. This man was actually Louisa's father, Alva, and the other comrade was Samuel Lawrence.
After Joseph had reported having the plates, Alva and Lawrence felt that they deserved a percentage of the profit. At some point, Alva was converted to the idea of the plates having a more religious meaning and became one of the earliest disciples of Mormonism. According to Mary Beaman, he once handled the plates with a cloth over them, and on one occasion helped Smith to conceal them. Louisa would have been 12 at this time, while Joseph was 21. In 1829, Alva sold his farm and moved to New York, and while he was there, he purchased the first Book of Mormon seen in the area. In the spring of 1834, Joseph Smith Jr., with friends, stayed for a few days in the Beaman home in New York. Concerning the prophet Joseph Smith, Louisa's sister Mary recorded that, "His society I prized, his conversation was meat and drink to me." It is possible that Louisa felt the very same way.
Again, we see a pattern of Joseph living with women before he pursues them as his spiritual wives.
In 1837, at the age of 62, Alva Beaman passed away. Afterward, Louisa makes her first appearance in the historical record from Heber C. Kimball's journal, which states that she traveled to Missouri or Zion with some of her family members. In the fall of 1840, according to Joseph Bates Noble, her brother-in-law, Joseph Smith taught him the principle of celestial or plural marriage, or a plurality of wives, saying that an angel had given him a revelation on the subject, and that the angel of the Lord had commanded him, Smith, to move forward in the said order of marriage. Smith then asked Noble to officiate in marrying Louisa to himself.
The prophet even said to Noble, "In revealing this to you, I have placed my life in your hands. Therefore do not, in an evil hour, betray me to my enemies." Here again we see the pattern of Joseph using a male intermediary to get the wife of his choice. And also, as you can see, this is where the angel makes its first appearance in the story as far as polygamy goes.
According to Brigham Young family tradition, Sister Louisa asked the Lord in fervent prayer for a testimony concerning the principle. The Lord heard her supplication and granted her request, and after being convinced that the principle had emanated from God, she accepted it, and was married to the prophet Joseph Smith. The ceremony took place on April 5, 1841. Louisa was 26 and Joseph 35. Erastus Snow, apostle and brother-in-law, said that she married the Mormon prophet in a grove near Main Street in the city of Nauvoo, the prophet Joseph dictating the ceremony and Brother Noble repeating it after him. Louisa was disguised as a man during the ceremony.
Okay, but did they have sexual relations?
In a court testimony given in 1892, Noble reported that after the marriage, he said to Smith, "Blow out the lights and get into bed, and you will be safer there." He then took my advice. Noble, under cross-examination, clarified that he did not actually see the couple get into bed, but he, Smith, told me he did. There is no good reason to doubt that Louisa's marriage to Smith included sexuality. Noble further testified under oath. Question: where did they, Joseph and Louisa, sleep together? Answer: right straight across the river, at my house, they slept together. After Joseph's death, Louisa married Brigham Young and joined together with many Mormon elite women in Utah. Louisa gave blessings, spoke in tongues, and is present in many of the diaries of Brigham Young's other wives. She was dear friends with Eliza R. Snow and Zina Huntington. She worked as a dressmaker. In 1846, she bore a pair of twins to Brigham Young, their names Joseph and Hiram, but they died as infants. Early the following year, Louisa gave birth to another son named Moroni. He passed away in August of that same year. In July of 1848, Louisa gave birth to another set of twins, Alva and Alma. Alva died in October, and a month later, Alma also passed away.
Louisa first started noticing signs of breast cancer in March of 1849. She passed away May 16th of 1850, the following year. She was only 35 years old. In Joseph Smith marrying Louisa, we see at least 3 of the patterns that Joseph Smith fell into involving polygamy. Joseph Smith lived in the same house as Louisa before they were married. Joseph Smith used a male intermediary to get the women he wanted. But from what I can tell, there was no exchanging of women. Joseph Bates Noble didn't become a polygamist until 1843, 2 years later. And Louisa wasn't already married, so yay! And of course, there's no reason to doubt that they had sexual relations. Also, just a random side note, during this same year, Joseph and Emma lost their 1-year-old child, Don Carlos.